Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah! Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and we came to bring you that boom bap breakfast. Yes. Now, I can't do this by myself, so let me introduce you to the host with the most straight from the East Coast. In case you don't know who we talking to, I'm talking about Jackie Lukman. Ooh.
What up, though?
Ain't nothing. It's a little dark over there. Darkness. You ain't got.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. You ain't got your little light on back there, I see.
I'm
And
trying to. The lighting in this room has perplexed me.
you look good though. You look good.
Thank you.
I just
But
noticed.
I'm not. I don't know what the hell is going on with the light.
It's all good. It's all
I
good.
don't know.
You
Sorry.
know. Oh no. So, no, never be sorry. Never be sorry. Just do it. I just told somebody the other day, I was like, man, I'm about to be 50. I'll just do whatever.
just do whatever, huh? Just.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't ask questions. I don't rules.
I mean,
Regulations. What?
I guess in my early adulthood, it was like, this is adulthood. Oh God, this is. Ugh. But now I think I am kind of in that. You know what? You can't tell me what to do.
You can't. You can't.
I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna wear it, eat it, drink it.
And then being people like us that's in front of the people's eyes all the time, it's just like I've been used to people looking at me, judging, saying this, that, and the third. You just gotta own it. Like, this is me. This is how I get down. Flux with me or don't. So
I feel that. I do kind of feel that. I'm definitely I'm definitely in that. I don't give a F about what you have to say anymore.
it took you years to get here. We vintage now. You know what I mean? How you going?
And look, life is stressful enough all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, because I'm 57. Mm-hmm. And so then you got just regular aging that, no, 57 is not old. I don't want anybody to, 50 is not old. But because of the conditions in this country, that's not like middle age. Middle age is actually 40.
40, yeah.
Because the average lifespan is only like 80 something years, in this country. So okay, yeah, a little older, and you got little things,
seasoned.
Little health issues that come with getting older. You move more slowly. Your muscles are not as cooperative as they used to be. Arthritis visits sometimes for
pains
some folks.
From nowhere.
Pains from you sneezed wrong and you pulled a muscle.
Tore tendon.
Yeah, there's that, and then of course there's premenopause for some of us, but I went through that early. And then on top of that, all the other health issues. Then on top of that, all the other personal issues. And then on top of that, I'm an organizer. I'm always doing this, exactly what you're always putting yourself out there in the public. And when you do that, you're going to get additional scrutiny, And then on top of all of that, then because you are an organizer, you get attacked from the state. Then you get attacked from your own folks. I mean, Black folks.
With that said, what does a organizer's retirement plan look like? I mean, what is retirement for?
There is no retirement.
There's no retirement for organizers.
I would like the elders to be the advisors.
Yeah.
As opposed to just agitating until agitating in the streets, doing all the things until you drop dead. And I recognize that sounds weird, but I do think we need to give our elders a break.
Yeah,
I
that is.
kind of think we do, because I really think that sets all of us up to believe that we're not ever supposed to rest. And that is, and I see that in church culture. Oh my God, especially in church culture. Like, churches are one of the most exploitative places for labor.
Oh, you ain't lying. Them ushers be like, "Let me walk you over." I'll be like, "God damn, I got it." I ain't even been to
He's
church in years, but I
87
just feel
years
like
old,
it. No, you
and
just think
not
of Walmart. The
right,
greeters
right.
at the
I
Walmart.
don't think it's cute that the greeter in Walmart is a 78-year-old
Yeah,
retired lady. That's not cute. I
yeah,
don't think it's cute that,
nah,
elders are working in fast food because they have to, because they didn't make enough money in their jobs during their life to get a decent, piece of social security, and because the cost of living is just unreasonably astronomical in this country. Even if people do get a pretty decent amount of money for retirement, then they can't afford to live on just their retirement.
hmm,
So you see all of these senior citizens working these part-time and sometimes full-time, service jobs, when we should be taking care of them.
yeah.
We should really be taking care of our elders. And I know our revolutionary elders, they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear it.
I feel like an organizer's retirement is pretty much just not having to be outside no more. Like you said, advisement. Come to me, come to my house, come to my place, and I ain't gotta go nowhere. I could just give you some advice, and I ain't gotta get out and march. I think
That,
that's really
that's
all it is.
I really do believe and look, that's a longer conversation. It involves all of the material conditions, because most of us are poor. We,
Hmm.
I was an anomaly almost, where I was solidly, whatever you want to call, middle class. I was making pretty good money
Yeah.
by myself, and then I got married and we had two incomes. We were doing pretty good, and
Hmm.
then things happened the way they happened. But then I started, started working for Sputnik, and they were paying
Hmm.
me really well.
Hmm.
So I have, this is really the first time in a while that financially it's been kind of tight, because I'm on disability, and I'm really trying not to. I don't want to go back to a job, but
So
I want our elders to be able to have the time, and the environment, to, when they choose to sit back and watch how things are playing out and be available as advisors, we are able to do that for them. And if they don't want to, you can't stop them.
yeah,
So
and then and just keep them home and just put a mic in front of them and do podcasts. And since we're talking about that, let's help Jackie in her early retirement. Right now, you could
oh,
donate at
oh,
blkliberationmedia.org. And that way,
oh,
we can start to get this retirement thing going. Because that's another thing. Yeah. Do your podcast, stay home, and give advice. And that's what we're doing now. Because, like you said, a lot of organizers and people that's, for the movement, they ain't rich because they putting their life and time out there to, get liberation. So,
yep. I mean, and like I said, it is a complex issue. These things that I would like for us to do, I know we can't. We
mhm.
can't. We are not at that stage of organization. We can't feed our people, let alone support support our elders, in their later years of life. Look at what we have to do every time one of our incarcerated political prisoners, we find out that they're not getting the health treatment for their conditions that they need. But I mean, we have to beg people for resources, beg people to. We're not organized. That's something that I would love for us to be able to do, but we are not organized enough to sustain our own communities.
Mm.
and let alone support. That is
Let me ask you this:
the problem.
can organizations like BAP get like a insurance plan? Is there any way to do anything like that? No.
What are you talking about? Insurance?
I mean, I'm yeah, because I know even in he talking about in like hip hop, like having a when you get a certain age, it's certain insurance, you get benefits and stuff like that. Like, there's no way to get
If you
organized to
don't
get benefits.
if you don't have it through your individual job, an organization like BAP is not going to be able to afford insurance to cover all 800 plus of its members all over the country and the world. And then we're a volunteer supported and led organization.
Well, what about an organization like Community Movement Builders with Kamal K. Franklin?
Well, they probably can because they kind of boot. Oh,
Oh.
You got what you need. What you need? What y'all need? Who needs
need
insurance? I got
insurance plan.
insurance. Out the back of my trunk, I'm selling some insurance. What you got? What y'all need? What you need? Life insurance, car insurance,
in the back of your truck.
You know what I'm saying? Need penis malfunction insurance. What kind of insurance you need? I got what you need. I got what you need.
We got. Hey.
No? Okay.
So community movement builders. I mean, do you have insurance?
Yeah.
Oh, you just pay out of pocket?
No.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that then.
Well, I got insurance up until maybe today, right? Because today is the big choice for the federal workers to take a deferment or to resign and get paid for several months, and hope that Trump of all people keeps their word, or to keep on struggling. But all that to say, so we have insurance through a Get's job, but I can't, like, through those who work for CMB full time, we do have insurance options that is not out of pocket.
Look at that. Look at that. I remember when I was married, I had insurance. This was great.
And now you just out there floating around.
Float on. That's why I try to stay so healthy. So
I was going to say drinking orange juice all the time. Keep the vitamin C flowing or something.
You got to keep that fiber content high.
Yes. Immune system up.
Find out. Hey. Call an ambulance and wind up with a $50,000 bill.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I can't afford to get sick. Literally. I cannot afford to get hurt.
In this country, even with insurance, you can't afford to get sick. Because good grief. I finally totaled up. Now, I did have really good insurance through Sputnik. I cannot lie. They really did take care of us with really great insurance. But I totaled the amount, all of the costs of the transplant surgery.
Poof.
If that insurance if I had not already met the deductible, because the deductible was $5,000. If I had not already met the deductible with the dialysis treatment and the previous procedures, I would have had to have paid like 20% of $145,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
Reason number 4,690 why America is trash. There's no reason why we can't afford a public health care for all system. No reason whatsoever, except the decision is not to do it because we got billionaires in control. There's no reason. How come you are never? So you don't have to answer this question directly, Jackie. But it is a question I'm curious about. Why aren't you ever mad at Sputnik publicly? Publicly. I feel like they deserve a little, you know what I mean? Because even the reason.
Well,
I know you want to calm me down right now.
No, I actually don't. No, I don't want to
a little heat. Don't they deserve a little heat?
No, they deserve all the heat. Yes, they do. I don't want to calm you down. There really was a legal reason why we could not say.
Think about that, B.
Yeah, we have, because we signed the contract when we were hired, and a part of the contract, and I didn't realize this is common in like radio, I guess, or independent media, whatever. But there's a non-disparagement clause in the contract that say, and actually it's kind of common in contracts, that if you are separated from the entity that you are contracting with for any reason, whether it was your fault or their fault, you cannot say mean things, even if it's true, about the entity that you are separated from. Yeah, so we literally could not say anything other than the statement that was made when it first happened.
So for future notice, you should pass me a note letting me know these things so that I can go off and be like, you dirty mother Russian, you. Sorry.
But,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, it looked like you jumped off the boat in time because as Leah Boggs says, Sputnik isn't even on air anymore.
So, yes, that is, and that just happened in October, almost a year to the day that the editor-in-chief at Sputnik DC fired us. So I want to make this very, very clear. Sputnik as an entity, nobody in Russia, nobody in Moscow was like, get them niggas off the air. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. Nope, that's not what happened. It is not what happened.
Sputnik on its own decided that you're non-equal. Who just go. Who decided?
No, the editor-in-chief in DC fired us.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happened. He didn't call.
You don't know, but you don't know for sure.
Yes, I do.
How do you know what other private conversation we're having in Moscow with Comrade Putin?
Lord,
of course, not
mercy.
Putin. I don't think it was Putin, but you don't. How do you not know what other conversations?
And this is why I didn't even want to talk about this here, because then we got to go into this. How do you know the Russians didn't want to fire you?
Well, they're all
comrade.
Wasn't that dude Russian that you just mentioned?
A Russian individual.
So he's Russian.
Fired us because
what? Yes.
When we came into the studio to do our show the Tuesday after Al-Aqsa flood, and we were doing the interviews, and we're told, because we got there first before there was one other show that got there earlier than we did. So we're told by folks, Mendia, that was his name, Mendia Gavashelli. Mendia has been meeting with all of the shows, and he's telling everybody that we have to report on, Al-Aqsa flood from both sides. And we're like, we ain't never done that. We have never talked about this issue. And he has never told us that we had to talk about this issue from both sides ever before. There had never been a time that the editor-in-chief or anybody told us what to report, how to report it, what to say. So all of a sudden, we go into, he calls us into his office, and he's, clearly just in his asshole mode.
Had some vodka, yeah. Okay.
And he's like, guys, you have to report on this from both sides. And we're just like, this show has been anti-Zionist from the minute it's been on the air. We are individually, personally anti-Zionist, and we are not going to report on this situation any differently than the way we've reported on every other situation that's happened in with this issue. And you've never said that you've had a problem with us before. And his response was, well, listen, so I guess you mean to tell me, I guess you support mass rapes and killing babies in ovens. And we're just like, what the fuck is this for? What the fuck is this? So that is when we knew, okay, this is not a Moscow. This is not a Moscow thing. This is him. This is him. And I say that because the very same day, Moscow did issue a statement about Al-Aqsa flood. And it was exactly what we had always been saying. that obviously this was a result of illegal Israeli occupation, apartheid, all of that. So basically what the man said was, y'all are just not obedient. That's really what it was. It was really, there was no direction from Moscow because, for example, when Putin made the statement announcing the special military operation in 2022, what was that, February 22? We all got a press release, the advanced press release from Moscow. And we were asked by the same editor-in-chief, look, I don't know if you guys are going to report on this or not, but, Putin is actually going to be having a press conference later on, and some of the shows are streaming the press conference audio live. So if you guys want to do that, you can, but if not, that's cool. That is how that show was run. Since I was there for the 7 years it was on the air when Eugene started that show. So when Moscow wanted to give us information that we couldn't report on, they gave it to us. But there was never a requirement, you must say this, that, and a third. Mm-hmm. And even within that, when Moscow sent information or press releases or stuff like that, which was not common, I think it might have happened 3 times in the times that I worked there. We were given the option to cover it or not. Mm-hmm. So that the whole thing after Al-Aqsa flood was just like me and Sean and our producer and the sound engineer. We're like, the fuck just happened? Because dude was like, and we're sitting there, we're like, listen, this is what we will do. We will ask people what their opinion is about these things being reported, like we've always done. We're not going to sit there and just give, just run over it and act like these accusations have not come out. No, we'll ask our guests. This has been said. The Washington Post reported this, about a mass rapes. And what do you think about that? He didn't even respond to that. He was like, look, if you don't report on this from both sides, I'm going to cancel the show. And we looked at each other and looked at him, and we were just like, we don't even understand what you want us to say. But whatever it is, we're not going to say anything different from what we have always said about this issue. And I don't understand why the way we've always done our job in this area, you've never had a problem with anything we've said. Why you have we couldn't even finish. He was like, okay, fine, give me your key fobs on the way out.
Oh,
and
damn.
Wow.
That is how we were fired.
Wow. We got the story here, right here live, y'all. Breaking story.
Yes. And I literally could not say anything. We couldn't say anything other than that because the non-disparagement lawsuit says that the entity that held the contract for that station, which was actually technically not the Russian government, could sue us for up to $30,000. Right? Wow. If we said anything other than we were fired or we're not there anymore.
So now they're going.
So now almost a year to the day that they fired us, within like 2 weeks of when they fired us, it was announced that Sputnik's office in DC was shut down due to the sanctions imposed on it by or imposed on one of the major funders. I think it was an individual. This was an additional round of FBI sanctions that was slapped on individuals or whatever in Russia. And I think a couple of the people involved in the entity that held the contract were really, money was an issue for a minute. Mm-hmm. And then, the FBI just finally, put the nail in the coffin. And we were told by our colleagues who were still there that after we left, he came out into the editorial pen and said to everybody else, if you want to help us save some money, it's that easy. And went back into his office. So,
well, we glad to have you here on the Remix Morning Show, and glad all y'all can tune in and rock out with us because they're lost. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we're gonna come back and hit y'all on the head.
Still want to sue somebody. Come out, want to sue some.
You do. I ain't mad at him. I mean, he's a practicing lawyer. Well, he was practicing.
Oh.
Practice make perfect, I guess. One day you'll get it, son. One day you'll get it. Right here on the Remix Morning Show. Practice make perfect. I hope it's worth it. Yeah. All right, let's get it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for one of these.
All alone.
Say what?
Toss and turn, longing for some of your tender love. I'm waiting for the right
Say what?
moment to come, so I can thank you for all the tender love you're giving to me. Tender love.
Okay, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 1985. That's right, with the Force MDs off the album Chillin'. The name of this song is Tender Love, mixed with a little bit of 2017. Deny Lay with her album Summer with Friends. The name of this song is Lurkin'. You might have seen it on that Insecure soundtrack too. Alright, with that said, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and you can also donate at blkliberationmedia.org. This will help us to start the retirement plan for organizers like Kamal, Jackie, Ricky. That's what we're doing right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's get back to it. Alright, let's go.
Why you always lurking? Why you always lurking? Why you always lurking on my Instagram page?
Yeah.
Damn, that was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Them brothers in that hair, though. Oof.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I remember. Even then, it was funny.
I mean,
That's how funny it was.
Look
even
at your man with the yellow
then,
jacket hair. I mean,
even
what
back
is he?
then, it was like, God damn, they dripping.
Follow the drip. Follow the drip. Follow the drip.
Too moist.
Moist
too much
MCs.
Oh,
On the dance floor. That's not sweat. Oh my God.
Oh, exactly. That's not That's an oil stain. That's an oil stain.
Smelling like a beauty
Blowing
shop.
gas. I'm gonna do like this. Let me just rinse that shit out of my tank. You're like, come on, man. We got to get there.
Yo, remember the smell of activator? Wow.
Yeah.
Remember when the so-called dry curl came out? Was that the S curl?
Yeah.
That
It
was
all pretty bad.
it was terrible.
Damn, that is the difference. S was dry. Jerry curl was wet. Okay.
That
Just
was.
learned something new today. All right. Hope y'all did too. Let me get out of here. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Peace, everybody. You want to slap the map?
Yeah, let's do it.
Slide. Peace, everybody. Oh, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, does that, before I do that, when it pauses like that on my end, did it pause on your end, the map thing? Or was it going straight?
No, it was going. No, it didn't pause for me.
Oh,
Not
okay.
that
That must be something on my internet end then. Okay. Sorry about that technical interruption that had nothing to do with nobody except for me. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. We have over 300 live listeners. We know by the end of the day, we're going to have well over 2,000 people who have checked out, sometimes over 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people who have checked out the Remix Morning Show. So we appreciate the support here with Jackie Lukeman, your man Kamal K. Franklin. I think Kim Brown might make an appearance. I see off camera, there is, we're waiting for her to come. I don't know if she's walking the dog, if she's in the bathroom, if she's like fixing her hair. I don't know. But back behind the scenes, there is a possibility that you will see Burn It Down Kim Brown, who might burn it down on me for all of that shit I just said. And I've been awfully nice to everybody, but we need to get them donations up again. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
We gave you a month, y'all.
I give you a month off, a month off. You know what I'm saying? So come on, like we got the Patreon. Y'all can go to the Patreon, give a little something. We're about to put up. Jackie, I think, is going to give us something soon to put up. Jazz going to give us something soon to put up. We need to get back on that. Again, you can go to Black Liberation. What is it? BlackLiberation.com. What is our
Black
Liberation? Doctor.
It's right at the bottom of the screen, my brother.
It's
Black
there?
Liberation
my bad.
Media.
You know what? There's no reason for that.
BlackLiberationMedia.org.
You know what I'm saying? That one. The only one. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go there once I remember what the thing is. I'm going to drop it here in the chat.
BLKLiberationMedia.org.
Drop it in the chat.
Oh, that's at the bottom of the screen, bro.
What's wrong with y'all? Don't y'all see that there? BLKLiberationMedia.org. Like I said 10 times
Somebody
already.
needs a retirement plan sooner than the rest of us.
Lord knows.
Like
Lord
Jackie,
knows.
I say every break, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, BLK. Oh my God.
If y'all want to give a fund just to get me off the air, I'm down with that too. I'm down with that also. If that brings it up, then I'll be checking in like 5 minutes. I'll be checking the email to see who gave, and then I'm going to count everybody in the chat who didn't give and say something about y'all. So I appreciate that. All right, Jackie, you got some news stories to get us started?
Oh my God, where do I start?
I got some stuff too. I got like statements and things that people said, but anything you want to start with?
So can we start with this situation with the Department of the Treasury and Musk and his little muskrats gnawing on cables and chewing the stuffing out of the sofas and eating the coffee grinds and drinking out of people's coffee in the break room and whatever that. People are really freaking out about these folks having access to all of your data. And I know I am probably, and I recognize this about myself, y'all. I do. I'm doing this weird reckoning thing, self-reflection. I don't know what is going on with me. The ancestor's been kicking my behind the past couple of weeks, but I can be kind of caustic sometimes. Yes, I don't have a lot of sympathy for silliness, and I gotta be a little bit easier with that. So I understand people are very, very nervous and upset and afraid, but there are a couple things I want people to be very clear on. Let's see. I don't know why. The Bureau of Fiscal Service is a sleepy part of the Treasury Department. It's also where a 25-year-old engineer tied to Elon Musk has admin privileges over the code that controls Social Security payments, tax returns, and more. People are very upset. Two sources say that Elez's privileges, the little 25-year-old, is Marco Elez, who used to work for two Musk companies. And Musk, I guess, kept him in a closet somewhere. I don't know. And pulled him out for this. He has the ability not to just read, but to write code on two of the most sensitive systems in the U.S. government, the Payment Automation Manager and Secure Payment System at the Bureau of the Fiscal Service. Housed on a secure mainframe, these systems control on a granular level government payments that in their totality amount to more than a fifth of the U.S. economy, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So the issue is, of course, that these folks even have access to this data, to the servers, to the information. They're using all kinds of unapproved external devices to access the servers. They're like literally plugging USB drives and connections for external hard drives into the computers of the federal. And I'm laughing. See, I'm being caustic again. Damn it. I'm laughing because I remember back in 2016, when we talked about Hillary Clinton smashing hard drives with hammers, and we talked about how that is illegal because those hard drives belong to the government, and they don't want you using USB drives and external devices to connect to their computers. They literally tell every federal employee, do not do that. If you are using your own hard drive to transfer data from our servers, our equipment, our cloud stored, no, that is illegal. We are going to fire you and we might put you in jail. But Hillary could destroy whole hard drives with a hammer, and that was okay. And the same people who didn't have a problem, who are still saying and using that as like an own for what is happening now. Like, people are literally saying, oh, this little 25-year-old is about to stop everybody's social security payments, but Hillary's emails, am I right? No, nigga, it's all illegal. It is all illegal. If you had no problem with Hillary Clinton literally removing hard drives from a desktop and smashing them with a hammer, knowing that if you as a federal employee would have gone to prison for that, I don't know how you think her doing that is any different from what these people are doing. But
not in the federal point. If you were accused of something, you would have gone to prison for that. Like, that would have been another charge.
Exactly. But then the bigger issue for me that I'm not sure why people are getting at, and please tell me if I'm way off track here, Kamal, but why are people not asking who let them niggas in? Like, how wasn't everybody at work that day? Wasn't everybody in the building when they brought the couches in? And nobody questioned these.
Well, I think most federal employees. Well, I'm going to calm you down now. We're going to do it. Breathe. We're going to tell you to breathe.
I don't understand.
So there is no mass resistance right now, where government employees are locking doors on Trump folks coming in. Although there are people who are starting to resist in some ways. Like, So the Elon Musk inspired email, which told federal employees fork in the road, that's the same email he sent apparently to Twitter employees when he fired all of them. So this is definitely an area of the government that Trump has handed over to basically the richest person on the planet and his minions, as you said. So there's huge reasons to be concerned, and some of which is of two minds, right? It's kind of like, does this make the empire fall farther, faster, better? Does this make things more disorganized and crazy? And so therefore, is that a great thing for folks who are saying, including myself, it's like, how does this empire fall down quicker? But on the other hand, also, we have literally millions of people who have desk jobs, work, pay, their mortgages, their salaries, and all the rest of it, who are not overtly politicized in the ways in which we are. And maybe some of this will politicize them, but who are scared shitless about the federal government is the biggest employer in the country, probably might even be in the world. Who knows? The U.S. federal government. And so you're having people who are at this particular stage. You have a mindset of the Trump folks or the leaders of the government or whoever they are, who are basically trying to shrink civil service and shrink governments and cause disarray. Now, some of that disarray we may appreciate, but they're not trying to end the U.S. government. What they're trying to do is refigure the government. I think, as Ajamu spoke about the other day, which is to get what they consider disloyal or non-loyal people out. And one of the ways they want to do this is by shrinking, having more of their folks in control, to have the government operate in a way that they think benefits them and their rich cronies even more so than it does now. So all that to say is, I'm hoping that what's his name? What's the little kid's name that's in there? The 24-year-old.
What is his name? What's that little Similac child's name? Marco Ellis.
I'm hoping little Marco, presses a wrong key or a wrong button and messes with everybody's social security, probably by mistake or whatever, maybe on purpose, who knows, so that people can become more outraged at the fact that basically your government has been turned officially turned over to private billionaires. Although, as you're saying, this has been the case for decades. These government contracts that have been given out to these large corporations, and that's how they stay rich. Look at the defense industry. The defense industry is nothing but private industry sucking at the tit of the government to build weapons, bombs, and so forth, which then they go use in Palestine and other places, and on our streets, in our community. So it's not like the billionaire class has not already been in charge, but I think it's the nakedness in which people are like doing it, which does have some folks concerned, particularly about their job. Today at midnight is the day in which they're giving federal employees the last opportunity, so they say, to sign off on a deal which basically gives them upwards of 8 months of pay in order basically to resign. And some folks are resisting in the sense of, like, there are folks, I mentioned the fork in the road. There are folks who had an Elon Musk employee giving some conversation, some talk to a whole bunch of federal employees a day or so ago, and they all started putting up spoon emojis as a sign of protest during the Zoom chat, to basically give the person the finger and be like, we're not leaving. And so I think there's a lot of interplay here, some of which can potentially, hopefully, radicalize people. Some of it is just about job security for folks. And some of it is about, do I take this offer that Musk and them were giving, basically via the federal government? Because there's clauses in these contracts that basically say whoever is in charge can decide on their own to basically terminate that deal that they're telling people is solidified post. So I think there's a lot of disarray, and for good reason. People are all upset. They're not going to all equate it to, the fact that the lack of understanding in some ways that some of this has been the normal course of government, but it hasn't been this extreme or overt or naked. And again, some of this is like, I think, used by Democrats and liberal media, the liberal sort of elite media, to tell you that this is not ordinary, but not because they want radical change, but because they want things to go back to the way the Democrats were doing it. That's how they prefer their imperialism to run. They want their imperialism with cream and sugar, so it goes down easy. They don't want the nakedness of some folks saying, you know what, we control this and you don't, and you're basically you have to respond to us. And so I think some of that is going on. So I have a little more, chill for people who are like, what the fuck is going on?
That's not even what I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I get that part. But most of the people who have been ushered out of their jobs in the federal government and these agencies have been managers, have been mostly managers, like the people who have literally been, like escorted out of the, and I'm just like, all of these agencies have security forces, all of them. They all have a separate security force. So, and look, this is not a question I am asking because I don't know the answer. This is a rhetorical question because I see people not asking it. Like, if you don't understand the futility of trusting any part of law enforcement to actually protect you and uphold the Constitution, look at how they have literally stood aside and let these people come into federal buildings that they're supposed to be. Remember, Elon Musk is a private citizen. He is not elected. He is not an official appointee. The DOGE is not an actually, it's not an agency that has any legal authority over federal employees or federal systems. I do not get how people are not asking, how come nobody thought to stop this private citizen from bringing his friends into a government office with sleeper sofas How come nobody thought, well, that's a bad
Well,
idea?
I don't think it's that clear cut. I think again, he's been appointed by officially the president of the country. And so there is legal so there is legal reasoning in terms of it's not an agency that was created by Congress, but the president has the power to create agencies. And again, the other people that Trump has appointed to these agencies are also allowing this to happen. So I don't know if there's a clear cut. Some of the moves they're making, I think, are clearly illegal or can be challenged in court. And some of these places are doing some, states are gathering to do class action lawsuits against the federal government. But I mean, I agree with some of it is in, people are sheep, right? And people are not at the stage where they're organizing to be like, we see this as a way in which we resist. And then again, some of us are like, fuck AID. Like I'm not standing up for AID continuing. But again, I do think this phase of like managers is phase one. Phase two, which is happening as we speak also, is the disproportionate attack on federal workers who are desk workers in order to shrink the government. They're as they're telling people to go back to work in offices. Again, another requirement which they're making, they're also selling their office spaces to make sure there's no place for folks to go back to. So, and at the same time, they're again are offering these buyouts over, I think somebody just put in the chat, but a couple of days ago it was 10,000. Now over 20,000 people are saying they're going to do these buyouts, but with not a real guarantee that Trump will honor these buyouts. But it is so chaotic that people would rather now get out. They're changing the missions of a lot of these agencies, which again, overtly claim to be doing civil rights work in some of them, but changing the mission so that they're not doing those things. So again, these are not overtly things which are radicalizing these employees to be like, now we clearly see the ways in which the government or the Democrats and Republicans have worked together to cause this. But again, I think the people, there is a stir of people, rightfully, I believe, who are extremely concerned about livelihood, what's happening. I think now there's starting to be large, this is another area, but large anti-Trump immigration marches, some of which are grassroots and not started by sort of Democrats. And so where will that lead? I don't know. But I think this is a time of great upheaval. This is not business as normal. But I agree with you also that the precedents of this have already been set by the fact that just because it's like naked and in your face, now people, again, as almost like in the first term of Trump, people are all like, there's a lot of people who are suggesting this is outside of the ordinary. But if they did it in a smooth way, like the Democrats like to do things, they wouldn't be a peep from media and from obviously folks who consider themselves progressive and liberal about coming out into the streets and fighting it. Like they would all serve it to us as if this would have to be done or there's some cost cutting measures and we should just swallow it and take it. But I think because of the ways in which it is happening, it is in its face. And again, we as politicized people have to be ready to do something about it. So I would say I caution against your caustic rebuting of what people are upset by. And how do we get those folks on our side? You know
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I am upset by what people are upset by.
What are you upset by?
I am wondering why the conversation has not. I am pointing out, because I'm not really wondering why. I'm pointing out that people are doing exactly what you said. And the issue is that people are not asking these questions. Like, where was security? Where were the police? What about the, like, even with the DEI executive order? If any of these things were morally challenging to any of these people in these federal agencies, if any of these executive orders were against any of these people's beliefs, their moral code, or they thought it was wrong and this was just evil, they didn't, where they been? there were a handful of people who openly resisted. Like there was one woman who was like, "Fuck you, I'm not leaving." And they literally had to drag her on it. So I am saying that I hope people are seeing that there is very little resistance to this man doing things he has been saying he is going to do since 2016.
I agree with that. Yeah,
And
no,
we
I definitely agree
told
with that.
people that yes, as much of a clown as he is, don't not take him seriously. And nobody took us seriously. So now he's doing it. And people are making this all about Trump and his particular minions, but people are not looking at the lack of resistance to all of these things that are happening that are making them rightfully afraid. But again, they are looking at the outcome of what, 40 years of neoliberal policy, austerity policies, rampant, unchecked, crazy genocidal militarization, imperialism that has created the conditions where this is happening, where it's being allowed to happen, where the whole system as it's set up is not providing any kind of protection. There are no roadblocks to these kinds of things that are illegal. Some of these things are flat out illegal. There are no the idea of checks and balances, where they at? What people are, I'm saying people are not asking these questions. Like, they're hyper focusing on Trump. Trump is the evil one doing all these things. If this system were as fair, just, equal, and balanced as they have always claimed, some of these things couldn't have been allowed to happen, right? Ostensibly, if the checks and balances work. But
no, I agree with that. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah. And I agree that people, again, when we look at history and what people will put up with or deal with before there is a sense of resistance, and sometimes not. I think this clearly goes in line with some historical precedents around whether or not people, even when you are the most oppressed, will you necessarily fight back? Will you necessarily challenge in ways that meet the moment? And I do think that's a large question. And I think there's probably many different reasons we can go down as to why that hasn't happened. If it still could happen, what are some of the linchpins that can make it happen? And again, what is the role of an organized left, militant left, that pushes? Like, where are the unions doing all of this stuff? Like, where are the unions? Why aren't they getting their workers, particularly federal workers, to march out in mass and have a major protest at the White House, at Capitol Hill? Like, those kind of things are the things that I think, in terms of what you're saying, is like, yeah, there's a response of sit tight. Like, there's a sense that you said, like, whether it's true, it's definitely not true, right? That the courts will somehow save us again. And like, the people, the masses keep putting their faith in these institutions that by their very nature are corrupt in terms of what they do for ordinary, everyday working people, i.e. thinking the Democrats are so different from the Republicans and they will save us, i.e. waiting for a lawsuit to be filed on your behalf to think that will save us, i.e. just calling your union and saying, I'm lodging a complaint, and thinking that will save you. So I agree. I think people have been, again, there's many different reasons, but lured to sleep in a lot of ways in terms of thinking that they have more rights and protections than they really have. And I think some people even point out, it's like, people's like, oh, the Civil Rights Bill of 19 something. It's like, if you had all those rights that you think you had, why is it so easy for them to take them away just like that, right? And I think we as a people, we as folks, the Black folks, have been moved along that path of thinking that with all this historical precedent that is thrown in our faces as the civil rights movement which cleared the way for us to have some sort of like rights in America, people are shocked and don't know what the fuck to do in a moment where every civil rights that you thought you had, every group right that you thought was obtained by the civil rights movement, even by Black Power movement, is being taken away, like you said, just like that. Just by using DEI as a, and prior to that, what was the other thing they used before with education?
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory. And they were like, well, that got us so far, but this DEI thing is really going to get us further. The courts have said affirmative action stripped away. Not people, again, these small, these things that they didn't necessarily impact us all en masse, but they did create openings, right? People, those things have been taken away. No mass demonstrations, no mass marches, no militant action. And now with this, the same thing, because people have been lulled into a sense of security that they think they actually live in a democracy. They think they can actually fix things through the ballot or through the courts. And I agree. And so I think that's partly for me, the Trump phenomenon, again, the second time around, which is not new, but again, a different form of overt white nationalism, as we've already discussed, is cutting through it all like butter. You know what I mean? Like butter, baby. He's like, I'm slicing and dicing this shit. Again, not because I want to destroy America. That's not what he wants to do.
Right.
But he wants to remake it so that he could do everything he wants to do with a snap of a finger. And so when Trump says he wants to take over Panama, the Panama Canal, believe him. He may not be there yet to be able to do it. But when he thinks he's got things in the military industrial complex set so that he can snap his fingers and the deep state will no longer be there and another part of it will fall in line and just do it exactly the way he wants to do it, as opposed to the slow roll way in which they might do it, then it's going to happen. And that's all what's happening now. Like, so taking all these government workers out, putting people in fear, and seeing what the reaction is. And right now the reaction has been, like you said, not much of a resistance movement at all. Well, speaking of a resistance movement, let's bring up the ear doctor. And you got on yellow. Yellow is the color of which part of the resistance movement?
Part of the caution. Step with caution.
No. I was really talking about like the axis of resistance.
Oh,
Yellow is one of the. Never. I shouldn't be saying that.
I don't know. I honestly can't.
But yeah. No, don't worry. Never mind.
That sounds like God body lessons. Like the letters, like J
that's
stand
too
for
much information
justice.
for me to try to access first.
B stands for born. Word. Y'all got lessons in the organization spaces where y'all got colors?
There's some lessons. It's an international lessons.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I missed that one.
Look at that. Dropping knowledge born. Let me find out. All right, we're going to take a quick break and hit y'all in the head with some more news right here on, did I get this so right? Yeah, the Remix Morning. I was trying to remember what show I'm on. On the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Murder.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I'll go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And just want to do a quick artist spotlight. Who I wanted to talk about. One of our brothers that has fallen. Yes, Irv Gotti. Let me talk about Irv Gotti. Just lost him like yesterday. It's just wild. Irving Domingo Lorenzo Jr., also known as Irv Gotti, record producer, record executive, found Murder Inc. Records in 1998, part of Def Jam, and he introduced the world to DMX. He introduced the world to Ja Rule, Jay-Z, working with all the greats to put him on out there, you know what I'm saying? He also had on his label people like Lloyd, Jennifer Lopez, Ashanti, and worked with a lot of greats. He also did on BET a series called Tales. He's straight from Hollis, Queens, New York. He came out and he was first on the Reasonable Doubt album on Jay-Z's Can I Live. And he started signing DMX to Rough Riders. And been in the business for a while. We talking about putting people in the right position and having his label Murder Inc. He got in a big feud with 50 Cent and Ja Rule and all them. Got into a fight. Even 50 Cent was wild the other day. He said something about, Irv Gotti dying. I was like, this dude is, he's something. But yeah, so he did all this. He put out music, Murder Inc. We just lost him yesterday. Multiple strokes at the age of 54. 54, yeah. So go check out a lot of different people that signed with Murder Inc., as you can see, and also his Tales on BET. And that's Irv Gotti, y'all. Hope his family is, bless out to his family and his peoples. With that said, let's get back to the Remix Morning Show.
Damn. I did not know that, dude. That's crazy.
Yep. He was doing a lot of ecstasy and stuff in his days with Ja Rule and stuff. A lot of
He was 54 years old.
Yeah, stuff would catch up
Whoa.
with you.
And I saw like the thing, he like diabetes and he had the strokes. Mm-hmm. That's still though. They said the cause of death is not known, but the articles that I looked at real quick mentioned a couple of strokes that he just recently had, and that he was suffering from diabetes, and said he did not have it under control. Whatever, he did some remark that said that he was on Drink Champs and said he was sometimes taking insulin, and I didn't, But that is crazy, B. That is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because the man is deceased and he does have a family.
Yes, he
but
does.
You ain't like the music at least though? The music? I mean, Ja Rule wasn't the best. That's
DMX.
Yeah, come on,
he did a lot of praying.
And y'all know it has nothing to do with the music. Y'all know it has nothing to do with the music. Doggone it. You know it doesn't have anything to do with the music. No, it had nothing to do with Ja Rule. And you keep DMX's name out your mouth like that. But it has nothing to do with the music.
Speaking of transitions, I want a big up to my teacher that taught me Tang Sudo. He just passed, Master Steve Chambliss. That's right.
Was he having a stroke in that picture? What's going on with that picture, dude?
I've never heard of Tang Sudo. I mean, not like I know everything about a lot of things. I don't. But
he passed away recently?
Yeah, he just passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How old was he?
I don't know. January 28th, 2025.
1940. Oh, he was at least he lived a good life. He was in his 80s. Okay.
Yeah. He taught me the ways of the fist. You know
what I'm saying? Really ever know the true age of your masters though? You shouldn't.
You should shave your knuckles, man. That was disgusting.
What?
I was joking. No shaving knuckles.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Don't shave your knuckles.
That's
y'all hairy. Look at that shit right here.
That's what popped out. I wouldn't even be scared of the punch. I'd be scared of the hair. I'd be like, this is
minding my business down here.
Try to nap them up so it could be even harder.
Just gonna be minding my business. That's okay.
Nice. Yeah, so that is your artist spotlight. I'll catch y'all next break. Let me go shave my knuckles.
Again, thank y'all for joining us. 367 strong, closing in probably on 400 before the day is over. My co-host Jackie Lukeman, myself, Kamal Franklin. We are still away. And I know y'all can't see this on air, but for those of there's like a bottom part of the screen, and so we can see Kim Brown's house without Kim Brown being there. So it's all set up, but I have no idea where she at or why her camera's on down there. So you may still get a Kim Brown surprise. I don't know.
No, hoping.
Yeah, we hoping. But anyway, so I got a couple of fast things, which are similar to. It's still within the range of what we were speaking about, and some of it I just sometimes I just can't ignore crazy comments by government officials that seemingly you're like, in any normal society again, which this is not, this would just be considered like, just so outlandish, as in Trump's Riviera comment, that person would just like lose their ability to speak publicly, or they would be just like, why are we nuts for whatever? But in this country, it's just one of 4,000 passing stories of how folks talk. So, a few days ago, of course, when we had the terrible airplane crash in DC, Trump's first statement was blaming DEI. And then his press secretary, I think her name is Caroline Levitt, had this to say, and I don't think we played it, but I just think it's too good to ignore.
Answered on this subject. When you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob Crilly.
That was for her throwaway statement that she just thought was common sense. She thought it was common sense. She thinks that's a common sense statement. And just ask the next question. And like you said, it wasn't like the media got up in mass and be like, this is just some bullshit. Why are we here? Why are we coming back? Why are we coming back day after day after day? Yeah. Why do we come back to hear this bullshit? And I shouldn't even have to say this part, but then, the pilots were white. All the pilots were white. All the pilots were white. All the air traffic controllers in this case, the pilots, they're all white dudes. So I think there was maybe one, but the actual pilots were white folks. No one. We are trained to say that because people want to respect the system, that they will listen to this, as they did during the Democrats, right? When day after day after day, the State Department got on and told you why it was okay to continually killing Palestinians day after day after day after day. None of the media walked out. Yep. None of the media said we're not covering this bullshit no more. None of the media called them like liars or propagandists or juxtaposition. And I'm talking about the corporate media, mainstream media. They did nothing except continue to cover the stories. It might have pointed out one or two inconsistencies or something like that, but they continued to act like this was the normal course of business and continue to act as if they should be covering this. Again, talking about the mainstream so-called corporate media types, who are the majority of the people who get the passes to cover, because they are the ones who they know will be docile for the most part and cover it the way that they say it should be covered. And again, packed, and they go on because on their end, what are they getting out of this? They're hoping to get ratings. They're hoping that you're going to look at this stuff and be like, either it's crazy, or if you're on the other side of the aisle, be like, well, of course she's right. Yeah, that's what I think about. Like, whether or not the person is qualified. Who the fuck don't want a qualified pilot? Like, who don't want that? So that just struck me as like another symptom of the crazy times that we're in, and that you're right, and that there's no mass resistance to it, which is why it's so easily, sliced like butter by the Trumpians. Yeah.
And it's wild how there are so many levels of this kind of, because on the one hand, you've got the white people saying shit like that about DEI, obviously. And if you did not know that DEI is code word for the word they can't say, that ought to be, it is. Come on, dog yourself. CRT is another replacement for the word they can't say. Woke is another replacement for the word they can't. So if you have not been clear that these people are literally using these terms to just say we sick of niggas and we gonna get rid of as many of them as we can, so we don't have to deal with them, see them, talk about them no more, and their brown friends too. If you weren't clear, that's what they were saying. That she just said it. She just told you right there. Nobody is sitting in the plane waiting for it to take off, or while it's in the air, sitting there talking about, I wonder if the pilot is a brother. Nobody is sitting on that plane. It's like, I wonder if they have queer and trans flight crew. Nobody, not even queer and trans people. But not only do we have the white folks wanting to say the N-word real bad, using these things as replacements for that, but then you've got folks in among us who then start with the same rhetoric, but about queer and trans people. Like, you know, somebody said one time, well, I heard that the pilot of the helicopter was a trans person who just had the surgery or wanted the surgery and wanted to commit suicide. Like, come on, y'all. Do you seriously? What you gonna use your own personal bigotry to lend credence to the bigots that want to kill all of it? Wow. That is, this whole watching people respond to this administration stuff has been, I don't know why I am surprised at how just weird too many Black folks are. Like, how a lot of Black folks are just like, well, you know, if they get rid of the queers, then I'm fine with that. If they get rid of the immigrants, then I'm fine with that. That'll be more job funds. Oh, you gonna go out in those fields and pick that lettuce? No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah. And it speaks to the condition that we're in, right? It speaks clearly to the condition that we're in. And speaking of which, again, another quick one of again, those who are present, and I haven't seen this one, but this was sent, this was put up by Erica, and I think this might have already been talked about a little bit on Jared's and Renee's show on Saturday. But I want to play this, so I think this is a calling for a boycott. But this is what passes, on the other hand, as potentially resistance, and so that's why I want to play this. We might play it twice to get from the beginning.
The fifth. Go to targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. I am believing for 100,000 people are going to sign this covenant commitment of not just prayer, but fasting from Target. Here's what is amazing. Listen to me, because what we learned from the Montgomery bus boycott is that racist America doesn't respond to speeches. They respond to dollars. And if they start losing $29 million a day for 40 days, we will break the back of the system. I want to go on record that not only am I asking you to fast for 40 days from Target, I am telling you to sell all of your Target stock. I want the stock to go down because we are standing in righteous.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Racism.
Did he forget who he's talking to?
I am calling the conscientious Christian community.
What conscientious
country? The conscientious Christian community all over this country. I am calling for a 40-day fast from Target.
Brown Palestinian Jesus.
Beginning on March the 5th.
So there you have it. For you conscious Christians that I know all listen to Jamal Bryant. And would you, all that stock y'all got, all that stock y'all got in Target, that's how we're going to break them. That's how we're going to break them. Now, I'm not mad at the boycott idea, of course, but really, is this how you do it? This is how you construct a boycott?
Well, okay. Let me
breathe, bring it all, bring it back.
Brown Palestinian socialist Jesus, help me with this one. Okay. It is good to see a Black pastor of some influence. I know that's a whole nother conversation. I know. We're just doing it in general terms here, just general terms. We're gonna stay out the weeds. Especially on this dude, you don't want to go in those weeds. But it is good that to see a Black pastor of some influence respond to a political moment, that's good. I am concerned that this is the political moment you respond. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be responding to. Okay, good. But where were you when all of our people got shot down in the street? What was Jamal Bryant saying about Breonna Taylor? What was he saying about George Floyd? What was he saying about Anthony Toledo? What was he saying? What was he saying about the genocide? There is an entire BDS movement, boycott, divest, sanctions movement that emerged from the fight, the international fight to end apartheid in South Africa. And actually what Bryant is suggesting, which a couple of Christian, they're already doing it. They're going to Target. They are filling multiple carts with like thousands of dollars of merchandise and then taking it to the counter and having the checker ring it up and then saying, you know what? Have you ever heard of DEI? Oh, you haven't? Well, this is what happens when the company blah, 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 doesn't honor its commitment to diversity, equity, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I'm like, that is actually directly from the original BDS playbook. They did that in the UK because the United Kingdom, Britain, imported a lot of goods from apartheid South Africa. So that was a way for the anti-apartheid activists to show the economic cost of apartheid, how much it literally costs to prop this system up. So I that's great. It's great that somebody, for once, somebody went back and looked at the history of struggle and went back and used some of those ideas. That's fantastic. But I have to, first of all, there's this man's personal stuff that I don't understand how he is still the pastor of anybody's church, but that's, hey, we're a bunch of weirdos and freaks, us Christians, apparently. So that they would continue to have this man, Pastor Ho, a lot, still, be their pastor, whatever. But I'm glad that it's being done. I am just not entirely convinced of his sincerity. And I'm not convinced that this action will go any farther than this. Like, I don't think this is an entryway into organizing that our people really need. Like that, they're not gonna. Brian is not gonna invite the radical organizations in the area where his church is, into the church for political education for the people. He's not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. So I take this for what it is, and it's a good thing. I think that he's doing it. How impactful is it going to be? I don't know. What are they doing this for? Do they even understand that DEI programs have never, and they've been around since the passing of the Civil Rights Act. They've been called different things, and they have never benefited, especially working class and poor Black people. Mm-hmm. Never. All of these programs have always been more beneficial to white women and white men than they have been to us. So there's all of that, plenty of contradictions therein. For what it's worth, I guess is a good thing that he's responding to the political moment. But unless you're going to let the actual revolutionaries come in and help guide your people to greater consciousness, yeah, okay, thanks, but all right.
Yeah, no, and you said something a couple of things that are really interesting for me, like the DEI thing, like you said, it's mostly been pro forma over the years, and even the uptick. And in normal situations, right, folks like us would not be, the way we would be talking about DEI as a way to entrap us into thinking that these corporate stores really give a damn about us or really do want to hire Black folks or anything like that, which we know are false, right? And a lot of these DEI programs have only appeared, as most programs that come out of claiming that it's providing some sort of social justice or that it's looking to hire Black folks. They come out of the fact that Black people in mass have started to struggle against something. And a lot of these current programs come out of the 2020 uprisings and before, where they saw millions of people on the street and decided again to say that, oh, let's say that we're going to enact these programs and hire a few people here and hire a few people there. Now, I have no doubt that most of the people overwhelming, and I wanted to circle back around because somebody said this in the chat and I can completely agree that the irony of people who are talking against DEI, who themselves are DEI hires, and that most white folks are nothing but DEI hires because they ain't qualified to do shit except that they're white, and they get to say, act as if somehow they know things that they don't know. So there's always keeping that at the center point of conversations that the same people, I mean, somebody brought up the dude in the Defense Department who was a part-time Fox host and served in the military, but now is running a multi-billion-dollar, the hugest military operation in the world. And they think that this is normal, or this is, of course, he deserves the position or whatever. He's a loyalist. So, and that, you know, and some of me is like, I might be happy an idiot like that is in a position because maybe again he'll fuck something up. Probably there's too many people around him to make sure it ain't gonna be that overt or obvious. But anyway, that's a sidetrack. So usually we would talk about DEI in a certain way, but I think now because of this way in which it's being used as that filler, like you said, of like we know that this is anti-Black rhetoric. So the fact that again that the mainstream so-called movement uses this issue, right? Again, please hire us is really what they're saying, right? Please keep give us some of these jobs. Don't take it away. And for the corporate ones, they're more like, please give us a contract. Please run a commercial. You know, Roland Martin is all upset. Saying I told you so, because and then he says it outright or whatever. Like, we not gonna get these contracts. Like, you mean you're not gonna get this contract?
You're not gonna get this.
We was never getting no contracts. And whatever contracts you get in certainly wasn't flowing down to some larger Black thing that was like revolutionary or radical for our community. So we have these folks who are putting this up and they're making this the leading edge of the struggle and fight when it never should be. Right? It never should be. Target was never going to be, none of these companies are never going to be the savior of Black folks living in America. But that's what we're squashed down to until we get the ability to project our politics and what we think should happen more. And again, that's on us. We know everybody's going to be against us projecting what we think needs to happen, but that's really on us. But like you said, the call for stock for the people in the church. I mean, yeah, there might be two people in there. What the fuck are we talking about with the stocks? So yeah, so I just thought, but I just like that. That's the leader of the opposition. And again, you're right. It's like, I don't mind the fact that somebody's calling something, but we understand that this is a moderate call for justice. It is not a call for liberation. It is not a call that's calling out these capitalist enterprises in the first place. It's not a call that's talking about why we have to build alternatives and why we don't even need a fucking Target in the first place. Because people are not there yet, and even to hear that call, but that's on us to get them there. I think, you know.
Yeah, I think that's true, you know, and for me, like a part of getting people there is to call out these kinds of actions and efforts as, you know, the apolitical, insufficient, completely disconnected from the actual reality of the thing type of thing that these things are. And this is why I say this, because look, Target is a big old corporation. It's a corporation. I don't really care about them as an entity. I don't care about Target. Outside of understanding where Target's economic, or the CEOs and the board of directors that control Target, where their political sympathies lie and what they do with their profits. Because what they do with their profits is not just, they've eliminated this DEI program when they didn't have to, because Trump's executive order was directed to the federal government. It was not directed to private corporations. But all these private corporations, as soon that ink won't even dry on that joint. Actually, the corporations started rolling back their DEI programs right around the time the Republicans filed the lawsuit against affirmative action. Once the Republicans started bringing up CRT and wokeism, then these corporations started quietly rolling back and shutting down their DEI programs. So that was 2 years ago when they went back, not necessarily Target, but a lot of corporations. It just accelerated now, because now it's happening under Trump. These people didn't turn their back on y'all. They been done it, y'all. Trump did not make them do this. So there's no conversation that Bryant is leading about that, because he probably doesn't know that, because he doesn't pay any attention to the reality of the thing. He also doesn't know, and this is why there's no conversation about it, about Target and these other corporations' support for the police organizations, giving millions to the FOP, funding cop cities.
Exactly.
Funding cop cities, along with providing support or setting up or supporting businesses that ship their products from Israel. He's not talking about all of these things that we are always talking about, that support the defense infrastructure. He didn't do this because corporations and capitalism in general in the United States support all of these evil, ungodly, inhumane things. He's just mad because Black folks can't get jobs in Target's front offices now, because he actually believed that DEI helped Black people. That we just no.
Yeah, all the jobs that Black folks didn't get, even after in fact, the only jobs that some of the Black folks got was to be the DEI person.
That usually wasn't even the DEI officer. Most of the chief diversity officers in these corporations were white people. So this is why these programs never ever produce the masses of unqualified Negroes that these white folks claim they produce. You know that's not true. They know it's not true.
Yeah, because this is a war for them. This is a war about control and about putting us back in our place. And you hit the nail on the head. It's like these same corporations who put out all this DEI stuff in 2020 and 2021, as soon as Cop City became a thing, it was these same corporations, Target, all the rest of them. We can go down the list that all put in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to begin paying for these cop cities. The Atlanta Police Foundation resources, they're all stuffed in there. So these same corporations that tell you they give a damn about Black folks, when the time came for them to show it in a real way, and we knew they weren't going to show it anyway, but when the time came, they showed you what their true color is. It's all propaganda for them. And when things shift and move for them, it's about the profits. How do they keep the profits? And how do they keep the empire going? They're not against the empire. No. They are the empire. But if they need to do some kind of cover because they think the times call for it, so we're going to claim that we're going to start hiring Black folks. And again, pointed this out yesterday. Black folks are underrepresented in the private sector in terms of job hires at all levels, which is why we are overrepresented in the federal government as a place to seek employment. That is why the federal government, like everyday employees, are also being attacked, because part of that is targeting Black folks and claiming that it's DEI hires, right? So all of that is at play. And as you stated earlier, there is no resistance to it from the workers. There is no resistance to it, obviously from mainstream media, because they just think we can carry on with the normal situation that they have at hand. And from doing that, somehow that's going to get us back on track or get us someplace where it's going to get us nowhere. We're not going anywhere. It's not getting us anywhere. It's not leading us to a struggle of liberation. It is setting us up again for 2028
Yep.
when they roll out the new Democratic candidate and tell us, let's get back to normal.
Right.
That's what all they're leading towards.
Mhm.
Watch how fast, again, the next Democrat, and it'll be a white man, most likely, the next Democratic savior who's going to get us back in order comes up, and that Democratic savior becomes some new white man who's going to be like, but let's like, this is how we get our country back. That's what's going to happen.
Yep. And real quick, just because we are, I am lambasting the man of the cloth, because that particular man of the cloth, he needs lambasting, and we all know it. But that's a whole difference. I said I wasn't gonna get into those.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I've been saying, I've been telling the audience that I saw your background, that there may be an appearance from downtown. We'll burn it down.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I like downtown Kim Brown though.
I like it too.
Julie
Burn
Brown.
it down
I was
downtown.
about to say, are we okay with Julie Brown? Because I don't.
She's suburban Kim Brown, not downtown.
Okay.
Downtown Kim Brown. Okay.
I was waiting for Jackie to go in on past the hoe. I said Jamal Bryant is Korean now. I love it. Go. I said go in. But I'm like, find the lie. Where's the lie? I find no lies.
Because how many of them women's will tell you it ain't a lie? How many of them? And they want his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Interesting.
I can't tell you how this will benefit the church, but since we are talking about churches and their role in the struggle and what it should be and what it is and all this kind of stuff, this was interesting, and thank you, Kai, for shooting this to me. And it actually is on the run sheet. I just missed it. A historic DC Black church now owns the Proud Boys name.
Yeah. And
Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, right down there off of what is that, 7th or 9th Street or something or other like that, downtown in DC, can seize any money the far right group makes from selling merchandise. Ooh, that's kind of, sometimes capitalism isn't that painful, at least not to talk about. In this case, a DC judge awarded the Proud Boys trademarks to downtown's Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church Monday. The ruling means that the far-right group can no longer use its name and clears the way for the church to try to seize any money that the Proud Boys might make selling merchandise like hats or t-shirts emblazoned with their name or with any of their familiar logos, including a black and yellow laurel wreath, the New York Times reports. Oh God, the church where Frederick Douglass and those two other neo-black folks have worshipped sued the Proud Boys in January 2021 after they destroyed Black Lives Matter signs during the mayhem that ensued around a December 2020 rally for President Trump. Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio pleaded guilty to the act that July. The Proud Boys were ordered to pay the church more than $1 million. It was a lot more in 2023, but they didn't do it. Trump pardoned Tarrio, who also pleaded guilty to bringing a high-capacity magazine into the district when he returned to office last month, and members of the group marched in D.C. on Inauguration Day. Tarrio called the ruling a betrayal of justice. So, I did not know. Now, I knew about the lawsuit. I knew the judge had ruled in the church's favor. I knew about the settlement, although the exact amount has never been made public.
I thought the number I heard yesterday was 2.8 million.
It was actually more than that.
It was
But-
more than that. Okay.
Yeah, it was more than that. But they've never and yeah, there was a reason for that. But I did not know that the organization, the Proud Boys organization, did not pay the settlement, which is not a surprise. I mean, because rules, fuck your rules, is exactly their response. So the judge was like, okay, all right, since you're not going to pay willingly, I'm just going to give the church the trademark. So any money you do make, they can just go to court and snatch it. There you go. That's I don't know how easy that will be, that they make it sound like an easy thing. But again, look, like I said before, there's a perception that Trump appointed all of these judges, more judges than anybody else, to the federal bench. So the entire court system is controlled by Trump judges. That's actually not true. But that doesn't mean anything, right? So I just think it's very interesting that was done. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know.
I think in one of the reports, I also heard that the Proud Boys threatened to change their name to the African Methodist Episcopal Boys, which I
don't think they can do that because
okay.
AME, I think, is trademarked.
Oh, no. I mean, it's ridiculous on its face that they would even suggest it. But it's part and parcel for, at least recently, these white supremacists being found civilly liable in courts and not paying. I'm thinking of Rudy Giuliani still refusing to turn over his assets to those Georgia election workers, those two Black women. They said, that Joe DiMaggio rookie card. Giuliani said, I ain't doing it. You can forget it. But I mean, that's what they do. I mean, Trump has to be freaking compelled in order to. Trump University, I mean, they had to seriously go after him to get him to pay. So this is what they do, but they are allowed to do it.
But the interesting thing is, now for years, we have talked about civil asset forfeiture. And the problem, and I think I remember a conversation we had on this show about this a few years ago, Kamal, where I was asking about how police can get away with literally like stealing your shit when they pull you over. And literally anything they feel like they see that is of value in your car, if they raid your home, if they visit for a so-called wellness check, they can just take your stuff. And then police departments seize it, they keep it, and it sometimes disappears, like with cash.
Some of it they auction off. They auction off
there.
this shit. Yeah.
The federal government does that too.
Yes.
In cases exactly like this, when the federal government rules against an entity, an organization, a corporation, a business, and that there are or an individual, and there is a monetary award, the government has the power to seize people's. Didn't the Biden administration just seize Vladimir Putin's yacht? Didn't they seize President Maduro's plane? So if the federal government could seize the assets of people in other countries, explain to me why they ain't seized none of them Proud Boys' houses, none of their cars, none of their stuff. How come Rudy Giuliani still has a place to live? And I'm not advocating for asset forfeiture. What I am saying is this is yet another example of the government seeming to be able to go after certain people for certain reasons, but now all of a sudden, we don't know how to make them pay. Get the hell out of here. Yes, you do. Yeah, none of this had to happen. When that first ruling came down, everything the Proud Boys owned, all of the individual members, the leaders of that organization, all that shit should have been auctioned off and given to that church, because that is what the government does in every other case.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, the DEA was flat out robbing people. There was an investigative piece done by an Atlanta media outlet. I can't recall which one at the top of my head, but they found numerous folks who happen to be flying domestically carrying large quantities of cash, which legally you are allowed to do. You can take as much cash around the country via airplane. And DEA agents were approaching people at their gates as they were about to board and basically robbing them, like thieving them for all their money. And the people never heard anything about what happened to their cash. And once the investigative piece exposed it, the DEA announced that they were ending the program, but nobody was disciplined. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody got their money back.
And just remember the local police, DEA, they can seize your property before you've been convicted of a crime.
Which is wild.
So that's the crazy part. They've seized, and not only just holding it as evidence and then with the plan to take it back, seize it, possess it, auction it before you've been convicted of a crime. So that's part of the whole thing. Like I'm dumbfounded by the Proud Boys thing, because I'm just sort of like, I have no idea what assets they got. They're gonna sell all their guns. I like, what are they gonna sell?
I mean, they
their
can.
military equipment, their military
Yep.
uniforms.
I mean, they charge membership, I think.
They got a bank account somewhere. They got
Look.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, they got some
that
stuff.
part is
And look, sell grandma's pots and pans too. Look, this is what you got yourself into. This is what you got yourself in. If some things you just got to be willing to take the consequences if you're gonna be out there bold like that. I don't like government seizing anybody's anything in this system that's supposed to be a democracy now.
But communism, that's what they do in communism.
And that's the thing. When a revolutionary government seizes the private property of literal slave owners and redistributes the land to the people who were enslaved on the land and their wages stolen, that's justice. That is obviously justice, right? It is making a wrong right. The government seizing people's assets to pay for things they have done to other people, that's supposed to be justice too. But because it's done in a capitalist system, sometimes the people who are supposed to get the money don't. And that's where the problem lies.
Speaking to somebody who's supposed to get all the money.
Is he?
Well,
I gotta at least get a deposit.
Oh, and I owe you something after the show.
Yeah. Hey, I was gonna ask you a question. So going back to the conversation, I was wondering, is resegregation the answer? And I know it's easy for places like Atlanta, DC, Philly, but other places where it's not so many, a cluster of black people. Is that the answer for us to move forward? Since we're talking about all these businesses not wanting to fuck with us, why are we fucking with them? Is resegregation?
So don't use the word segregation first.
Okay. I can't
Segregation is one group that is separating from you, but taking all your resources and still has power. So we don't want segregation. But as Malcolm has talked about, right, like land, self-determination, ownership, control, I think any people want that. Any people really want that. And then the question becomes, can we build something that we control?
Can we be in this land of capitalism and not be capitalists if we want our own?
It's a fight and build strategy. So capitalism is never going to let black folks be whole. Right. So you got to fight as you build. You cannot just say, I'm going to go in my corner and I'm going to build up all this industry, and, whether you can actually do it or not, you know what I mean? But I'm going to build up all this stuff and this is going to be mine. It's going to be the new Black Wall Street, and be like, see, we did it. And, capitalism is going to be like, well, what? I'm not letting you do that. Yeah, unless it serves a purpose, unless you have the same ideology as me and you want to play those games and all that kind of stuff. But if you really think you're going to be independent, then I'm going to bomb your shit.
Yeah, because we like distribution too. Go ahead.
I mean, but even still, let's say that we are able to create those communities that are, economically interdependent or independent from the mainstream. They can still come occupy us at any time, and it still doesn't protect us from state violence, right?
And, first, we're already segregated. I don't what do you mean resegregation? we have never not been segregated in this country. Now it's true that these days a lot of the lines of demarcation are done through economic policy, right? But it's also still done through political policy. We see with gentrification. Gentrification is a policy of continued redlining and segregation. It is. It is settler colonialism on the local scale. That's how it's done. Except they're not, slaughtering, like outright shooting us in the street to get us out of the neighborhoods. But they are using the cops and the marshals through evictions, and they will shoot us if they have to, if we resist. We've seen that. Evictions, I mean, but just specifically that. In a capitalist system in which everything we need to survive is commodified and it is tied to profit, there is no way that we can develop an independent, self-sustaining, communal type situation without still having to rely on a part of that capitalist system. And that is always where we are going to have problems, because even if we got a bunch of people together who had a little bit of money, if some of the celebrity billionaires decided to put up all the funds for new Black Africa in the Black Belt, let's say, let's not try to recreate the wheel. This is something that we've been talking about for decades, since that's where most of our people still live. All the Black celebrities put up the Cowboy Carter funded the Black Belt, the new Black Belt commune for African descendants in the South. We need permits. First of all, we got to get the deeds to land. Don't think that all these nice people who work in the recorder of deeds are just going to do their job and give us the deed to land we buy. Look at what's going on right now. You still trust these people to do what they're supposed to do under the law? Get out of here.
And even if they give you a deed,
then we're gonna need permits for water, to dig wells, to put in septic systems, to connect to the existing infrastructure. It is not guaranteed that we're going to get
always
those permits.
do eminent domain or whatever it is.
And then there's that. At any time, if we cultivate the land and it becomes, and we make it more profitable than it is being empty, they're going to snatch every bit of it. Every bit. And we're
look at Cuba. Look at Cuba. Look at Cuba as the example. Cuba is liberated territory, but is it liberated? Is it free? Does it get to trade or conduct its economy the way it wants to conduct it without mass interference from the United States and Western Empire, who says basically the threat of a good example? When you do this, or if you do this, and people get to thinking that they can set up an economy that's socialist and that it will work for the benefit of the people, that we will not allow that, because then other groups will start to think that they need socialism. And where does that leave the capitalists? Right? Where does that leave them? So even again, for me, even if part of the struggle is that we need to control things, that those controls will never be permanent until we also deal with the great Goliath monster, hegemon, U.S. capitalism and Western hegemony, Western control, which says we will not allow any of that to take place without fighting it. So we can never just maroon ourselves in this world and in the system. There's always going to be part of the struggle is there is an enemy afoot. There's an enemy that is looking at what we're doing and constantly trying to destroy that and or reposition it. They would be happy. I mean, I'm not just happy. They want the Cuban government to fall, right? So they can replace it with a capitalist government and say, see, socialism doesn't work, right? So that's the thing. If they thought socialism would fall on its face and it was a system that would not work, why would they spend the last 60 years with the embargo? Why would they spend the last 60 years doing everything from attempted murder to destroying crops to terrorism on a small island with no more than 7 or 8 million people on it? That's all because they're scared of the possibilities of socialism and independence from a capitalist system. So it's not so much that we need to separate, we need to fight capitalist monsters, which at the same time that we build, understand that these capitalist elites and monsters will never just let you take your dimes and your pennies and walk away, right? If they don't control it, their goal is to destroy it. We have to have the same attitude. We can't be free unless we destroy capitalism.
That's right.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's right.
Break it down, brother Kamal. I ain't on
A Malcolm X is what they call him.
How long did you sit there holding that? Though?
That's the chat.
Oh, we got your glasses on.
Y'all funny.
All you need is a window and a gun.
But this is why we say all the time, organize. See, you learn these things when you're in an organization, because when you kind of step back and look at it as an individual, you think, oh, the answer is if we just did, if we just had our own and built our own and we're self-sufficient. But when you're in organization, you're able to understand. You learn that everything in this country is infected by capitalism. Everything. Capitalism is the problem. That is the primary contradiction. It's not our behavior. It's not single mothers. It's not drug use. It's not laziness. It's not crypto. It's not financial literacy. It's capitalism. And if capitalism is the thing that is keeping us from building a society or community that's beneficial for us, then our focus is to get rid of capitalism. Our focus is not to become isolated from everybody else around the world that's also struggling against capitalism and its international form, imperialism. We are stronger fighting this together. If we can defeat capitalism from the inside of it, then the rest of the people of the world can breathe a little bit, and we can all work together to defend our collective anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist projects, because we will have to. We will have to always defend every victory we have. Again, Cuba is a great example of that. Venezuela is another example. Nicaragua, another example. And there are countries that are examples where the imperialists got in there before people were able to build up their forces enough to defend like Congo, unfortunately. When a revolutionary leader was assassinated with the aid of one of his colleagues, he wasn't the only one. And then the U.S. and what were the people? But thank you. And Belgium imperialists immediately slid literally the day after that man was kidnapped. Patrice Lumumba, the day after they kidnapped him, they put in their puppet, and that was done. So
did y'all see that documentary, by the way? I know I'm late on it because I know there's been I know Jared's going to chastise me. The documentary, the soundtrack to a coup.
I saw that. I did not watch it. Is it?
It is really good. It is really good.
I'm going to take a look because I saw it scrolling around last night and I saw it.
Where is it? Where does it live? Where does it reside?
I saw it on Prime, so you had to pay. But I don't know if it's on something else. But it was, I think it's really, really good. It mixes jazz, music, the role of propaganda. Its centerpiece is the assassination, or what led to the assassination, and like Jackie said, all the players involved. It's an artistic piece, as in the weaving of jazz and music, and it talks about certain things like some of us we think we know, but we didn't know all the different people involved, and some of the good historical cuts of like not only people like Dulles lying to our faces, Dulles, CIA director and so forth. But the ways in which, again, music, jazz was used by the State Department, by the U.S. government, to also be a distraction while they were plotting and planning and murdering, and how some CIA front groups basically made jazz musicians ambassadors to go over to other places and play music, while at the same time the U.S. was fomenting counter-revolution. So it's a really great account of that period. So I definitely think people should see it.
All right. Well, we got about 4 minutes left, and yeah. Huh?
Take it away. Give
Okay.
the people the mix.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna do that.
They don't do no
But-
mixes no more. You notice that?
I noticed that, and
Notice
I
that?
am protesting right now. You know what? Come on,
Exactly.
come on.
They don't do no.
I know.
Don't get up. Don't get up.
Protesting. Mix.
Uh-oh.
Mix.
Man, just because you put the girls on the screen, I don't mean nothing. I'm not doing
it,
Why are you withholding your labor from us, ear doctor? Why are you
because I'm
withholding
just
your-
trying to hold it off until they come back at 11 o'clock. That's right. They come check us out on Classical Breakdown for the LaBelle. That's
I
right.
am so excited. You have no
What
idea.
was the other sister's
Oh, let
name
me
with
get
the
this
dimples?
off the
What's her
screen.
name?
Wait a minute. Damn.
Sarah Dash, Nona Hendricks.
Yeah. Nona Hendricks, I know.
Yeah. So
She
Oh,
had
what are
one,
the-
Nona Hendricks had one hit, right? Like separate from them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Oh,
Stop it.
am I hit?
Don't
I
you
hit?
do it. Don't you.
No. That was
there's a
even I
difference
wasn't- I
between a
wasn't trying to
song
get
and a
you.
hit. Okay.
Oh, she had one song, not a hit.
No, I'm just saying you got songs, but they don't mean it's a hit. You know what I
But
mean?
it also,
I remember having one hit.
if it's not a hit, does not necessarily make it a bad song, though.
no.
That's true. That's
Okay,
true.
okay.
no.
That's just
No,
make
no,
it
no,
clear
no.
that we are not disparaging
Oh, I love Nona Hendricks. I think she's the
Madam Hendricks.
You know, no, love her, love the voice.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just saying, like in the straight male way of the three, just saying. But
Yeah.
you know, who
All
Have
right.
you seen her live?
could catch
pen
it in
game-
1970s?
her pen game was also very nice.
Yeah, that too. But like in the 1970s, if I was to go back into a transporter, and I was plopped in front of the LaBelles, and I was told, "Bang, pig, like whatever." I'm just saying, it's Nona all day long.
All right, Jackie. So what you got coming up? This guy.
Oh my God. Today I am I'm actually really, really excited about this. I'm on a panel. We're having a discussion with the Ending the Korean War Collective. I talk about international solidarity all the time, and we're doing something that I'm very excited about. We are engaging in connecting with Korean anti-imperialists to engage with them in the campaign to end the Korean War, which has never actually ended. People don't know that. So we're going to be talking about race and the Korean War today. So that's cool. And then, Friday is Darker Than Blue, and Saturday is a bunch of meetings. All that good stuff.
All right, great. Kim, what you got coming up besides
Classical breakdown
That's
at
it?
11 a.m. No, I got my show, nigga.
There you go. Tell us about it. How can we watch it?
You can go to Burn It Down with Kim Brown and subscribe and look for me Fridays. Look for me 7 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
I might even do something cute after we do our classical breakdown. I've been lying about doing Twitch turn-ups.
Okay.
So I finally got my shit together. So I think I might do one today. I know, chat. I'm a liar. Don't judge me. We listen, we don't judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they're
This
doing
chat?
now on social. No, that's what they're doing on social media now, where they're having these conversations with relationship people. All right, so what you got coming up, Kamal?
Well, what we got coming up, since I may not be here tomorrow, is the National Radical Organizing Conference. Go to Community Movement Builders. We got a header up top. So the conference is coming together. Soon we're going to be releasing a conference statement that's positioning the conference historically and what we hope to accomplish at this conference. Our expectations that we're going to have between 400 and 500 people as we do this ticket counter. We have already sold 52 tickets. So don't be late. Don't get rushed. We're about to put up the hotels that people will be getting discounts for where they're going to stay. So that's all coming and happening. It's only $25. So again, we're not trying to hit your pockets hard. We want you to spend your money on getting there. We wanted to see you there. Again, this stuff is getting developed as we speak. And soon we'll be coming out with a schedule, and some of the speakers are going to be fantastic. The conference participants, the workshops. Y'all gotta make it there. We got things to talk about.
Make sure I get a decent room. I only stay at 3-star hotels. All right. So that's what we got going on.
About right, actually.
And better, I was hoping.
That sounds about right, actually.
Wait a minute.
Only 3 stars.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
4 is too bougie for me.
And 5, let's not even talk about it.
Not at all. I never stepped a foot into a 5-star hotel. All right. So
Embassy suites for the ear doctor.
I actually did one time when I went to Mexico. Went to the Four Seasons. It was mwah. But anyway, you can take this off the screen. We get it. Kamal.
Wow.
Damn.
All right.
Talking about caustic. Good Lord. That's just.
All right. So that's what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all tune in again tomorrow morning for some more of the Remix Morning Show, y'all. And we are out for the day. Peace. 'Cause I hope y'all are sitting on top of the world.
Rest in peace, Gotti.